Welcome to this episode of today's English Modernism class. We are talking about Virginia Woolf and A Room of Her Own and how she wants a room of her own and what is her reasoning for that.
Boo. Just kidding.
So, first of all, she kind of says at the very beginning, she's like, I'm going to tell you why I need a room of my own. I used my phone to read this. So, she says, instead of just saying right away why she needs a room of her own, she's like, let me tell you how I got to this point, and starts explaining a lot of stuff. And we eventually figured out that she basically wants a room of her own because she needs space to write from everybody else. And her stream of consciousness is really interesting.
So the question that you gave us today was... Did you already say the question?
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't paying attention because I was reading. It also kind of talks about how she kind of addresses the idea of what really is fiction and what really it means to be a woman. I think right that's in the very beginning. She's like, oh, I have to outline what it is to be fiction and to be a woman. And I thought it was interesting how the way she explained it in the what's it called? Stream of consciousness. Like I always speaking Spanish. Made it harder to understand what she was trying to talk about when she says that this is fiction and this is woman. And maybe that could mean, in a way, that women are just misunderstood in general. So maybe that's a reason why she put it in the stream of consciousness. Maybe. Could be possible. What do you think?
But I also think like she sort of used it because she convinced herself why. So she's going how she like explained her thought process, and because she's a very talented person, she's a very talented writer, and she knows a lot of other good writers. And yeah, even though she's a talented writer, she's explaining how she's like going about life, and just because she's a woman, she's not treated the same as men. For example, in the first chapter, she's explaining how she's walking on the grass, and then some police guy looks at her all angry like that, and she basically tells her to get off the grass, and because she's a woman, and she has to go to the other place, specifically where women walk, and she's like, I don't understand, but she had a great idea she's thinking of, and it didn't work out. And other injustices where she notices that women, there's not a lot of women writers, and a lot of women writers actually don't talk about men, but all men writers talk about women, like identifying them in different ways. For example, in chapter 2, she's like so confused, and she's trying to figure out why men talk about women, and what do they talk about women. And she says that some sages hold that they are shallower in the brain, others that they are deeper in the consciousness. Goethe honored them, Mussolini despises them. So she's like, it seems like writers can't get women right. Either they like them or they don't. And so she's just trying to figure out eventually what they feel about them. And so during this whole stream of consciousness, she's thinking about it, and you sort of realize along with her, as she thinks it's all, and she meditates all of this, that she's right. That was a long answer to your It's my stream of consciousness, okay?
So what I thought the question meant when it was saying why do women need a room of their own was basically that, like has already been stated, men didn't take women seriously, or they didn't let them exercise their creativity because they were women. And I don't know why it started like that. I always wonder how women started off as like the lesser, like your work means nothing
since the beginning.
Yeah, I know, but why? Like, anyway, that's too deep of a question to be going into.
But she criticizes women. She criticizes her mom, too. she's like, what did you do with your time besides raise children and have babies? Because she talks about, like, I don't understand how my mom, because you have to have 9 months to grow the baby in your stomach, then you have to birth the baby, and then there's like 3 months where you feed the baby. And she's like, you spend so much time, what else do you do? And she's like, and she calls her mom. I thought it was interesting.
But yeah, anyway, let me finish
Sorry.
saying what I was saying. Because like they're they weren't allowed to be creative because like the instance when she was fishing, she did liken the fish to an idea that she had, and like she got kicked off the grass, and so she lost the idea. Or like she wanted to go to the library and do some research or something. It was very hard for me to understand this, but like she wanted to do some research, and she had to be accompanied by a man. So like just all these things that were like keeping her from, exercising her creative mind was men. And also I think money, because she also said money was one of the things. They need a room of their own and money. And women they don't get money because they aren't allowed to, I guess, work or publish things that they could become accredited and earn money from, is what I understood from it. And also, my favorite quote was, sex and its nature will attract doctors and biologists, but what was surprising and difficult of explanation was the fact that sex, women, that is to say, also attracts agreeable essayists, light-fingered novelists, young men who have taken the MA degree, men who have taken no degree, men who have no apparent qualifications save that they are not women. So it just goes to show that like men it doesn't matter what their education is, they're just taken seriously. But if a woman with no degree or anything was to say something that she believed, she wouldn't be taken serious either way. So yeah.
I think you hit right on the nail, to be honest. I can only add to what you said. She calls her mom a wastrel.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. The part where she talks about the birds and all of that.
Mm-hmm. And a wastrel is a wasteful or good for nothing person. Looked it up. Which is kind of sad when you talk about like your mom like that. And so I don't know. When I just looked that up, it gave me the impression that she wants women to get a room of their own. Like she wants women to take advantage of their time. She wants women to stop being impoverished because that really bothers her for a long time. Like, why are women so poor?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, they don't earn any money; they're just dependent
on the dowries that their mothers before had saved for them. And so, if they don't have one, then there's no way for them to be educated or to.
And if their mothers didn't get any dowries, there's nothing. It's really sad.
So they need space to grow. They need a room of their own to grow and thrive.
As much as in their personal homes, as in society.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. If you don't give them space, then they don't get creative.
Mm-hmm. That's our story for today.
And respect, too. Like, I would see that, for instance, if you have a room of your own, like, when you're a kid and you have to share a room with your siblings, it's like, ugh, like, I'm old, like, where's my respect? Like, I'm older than this young kid and I have to share a room with them. But then when you get a room of your own, you feel like you're an adult and, like, you're in charge of your life. And, I don't know, that's how I felt when I got my own room. But, like, they don't have a room of their own. They're probably sharing with men, so they don't feel like they get respect.
Have you seen the Party Precious with Keira Knightley in it?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The part when she goes to her friend's house who married Mr. Collins.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, oh, this parlor is for my own use. for my own personal use. Do you remember that part?
Yeah.
It kind of just reminded me of that. And she was like, oh, it's so great to have my own spot. He won't disturb us here. So maybe, like, you know, just to kind of go along with what we've all been talking about, if they had this kind of space, then they'd be able to, you know, do so much more with their being women. Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
I need a parlor. I want a parlor.
Suddenly realized
So I can say
how
it
smart she is. She's like, oftentimes we only see each other 5 times, like once a day.
Yeah. So that just reminded me of that. Just thought I'd add that in.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for your contribution,
I really like this and how descriptive it is. It also made it hard to read
I
because
like-
it's so descriptive.
Yeah, it was difficult, but I liked when I could understand her savagery. It was
Her
funny.
sassiness. And I really, she has really good descriptions. And you can and also I think it's funny when she was like talking about how she was sitting with her other fellow
I'm taking
intelligences,
all the M&Ms.
her fellow friends.
You don't do that.
And when she's with her fellow friends, she's like, most people don't explain what they eat, but I'm going to explain what we eat. And she explains it all.
At the dinner part, the tea parties?
The party that she was at talking. Because she's like, most people talk about the intelligent conversation, but I'm going to tell you what we were eating. And it just made me hungry because I'm a starving college student. So, also, it's her different way of approaching things.
Oui.
S'il vous plaît.
Have this like. I'm gonna stop this video before I continue. Are we good?
Yeah,
I think we're
so.
good.